Tara Jean, and welcome to the Dining Out Jersey show. We are in Long Branch at the Whitechapel Project with owner Marilyn Schlossbach, one of my favorite people and one of my favorite places. And we are also with Aimée McElroy.
Yeah.
I should know that because I'm McDonald's. So it's McElroy, and she's from Catbird in Asbury. So the address there is 1215 Sunset Avenue in Asbury Park. And we're going to talk to these wonderful ladies about mocktails, being business owners, and being friends. How long have you guys known each other?
It has to be at least 10 years now.
Yeah,
It's at least 10 years.
I've known you since I was pregnant.
Yes,
So-
but like we've gotten much closer over the last 10 years. It's been about 10
How
years.
did you meet?
Oh my God. Well, at Langosta.
Yeah.
We first met at Langosta, and
I know how we became friends on the beach.
oh yeah, well, I mean, the beach brings out the best
Yeah.
of friends and everyone.
Oh.
Nothing like having a group of people together on a beach in Asbury Park. It's a wonderful social scene. If you want to meet your community, that's the place to do it.
And we used to run into each other all the time and just hang and chat.
And then Marilyn really started supporting me when I had my first restaurant, Medusa, in Asbury Park, and that's when we really developed a very good friendship and solid friendship. And having that relationship and that friendship and being small business owners, she was really not just a supporter, but an amazing confidant and someone who I can lean on and call and ask for advice. And so
Yeah.
And
really
cry
nice.
too.
Cry. Yeah, we definitely got crying down.
So you had how many restaurants now? You had definitely Langosta,
Yeah,
and that was in Asbury.
we had a few in Asbury, Market in the Middle, Langosta, Yacht Club, Pops.
Okay. So
We had a wine shop.
So much experience.
Yeah.
And then was your first one Medusa?
My first restaurant was Medusa in
And-
Asbury Park.
And
Yes.
then your next was Catbird?
Next was Catbird.
Okay, so you definitely could help with a lot of different interesting insights, I'm sure.
I actually hired Aimée to come in and consult with us when we wanted to do pizza because we loved her pizza so much. And
Right, you have this new pizza section.
Yeah.
Side piece.
Side piece.
Pizza. Such a great idea, and it's just right out front. You can walk by and pick it up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yeah, no, we did. We met at Market in the Middle. Marilyn was cooking, and I would go in there every weekend for the pan-seared, the sesame crusted
Are you
tuna.
serious?
Yeah, that's where we first met. Wow. And then but I didn't know you then. I knew who you were. But yeah, so pizza, that's my thing. I'm a pizza maker and a bread baker, and that's what I love the most. So my restaurant is wood-fired kitchen. I have a huge wood-fired oven, and we cook as much as we can in and out of there, and I do pizza as well. So Marilyn asked me, we've always talked about pizza, and so when she was opening Side Piece, I came up for a day, and we had a lot of fun. We did a couple day long demonstrations, and collaborating is wonderful.
Yeah, that's exciting.
yeah, and
So you
she's
helped
the
her at the
master.
Of pizza.
And I am not, but my daughter loves pizza, so
It all works out.
Yeah. So, just so tell people where you're located. So, Catbird Asbury Park is at 4 Mocking.
No.
Oh.
So I'm located at 1215 Sunset Avenue
Okay,
in
good.
Asbury Park. It's actually the old Sunset Landing Luncheonette, which was built in 1960, and it operated until 2023. And then I took it over and renovated and opened in. It'll be 1 year, May 4th.
Okay. The anniversary almost.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah.
And then the Whitechapel Project, tell everybody the address here.
15 2nd Avenue in
Okay.
Long
And
Branch.
how long have you been here?
I have been here since a month before COVID, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I kind of,
Crazy world.
2020.
yeah.
Right?
So we took it over.
5 years.
It was here before, and I partnered with the original owner, who's still a partner, Preston, and came in to operate right before COVID.
You added your personal touches, your Maryland style.
Yes,
I love
trying.
Absolutely love it. So one of the big topics that is really out there is mocktails. Now, I know that you have a lot of mocktails at Catbird. In fact, you're the only place that has only a mocktail bar, correct?
I am 100% mocktail bar. So it's a non-alcoholic bar. I do not have a liquor license. So I have been, I've spent since 2019 really getting involved in non-alcoholic sector. But then in like 2020, 2021, during the pandemic, there was there's a group of people who started making and creating like small batch things, and bartenders working on things, and kind of moving away from alcohol. The pandemic was hard on a lot of people, but it was also really a great time, and a lot of creative energies were happening at that time in all of the arts. And then about 2022, you really saw this kind of, the explosion really started, and there's a wonderful bottle shop in Manhattan called Spirited Away. I cannot speak highly enough about them. They were the first non-alcoholic bottle shop in Manhattan, and they have grown to just epic proportions, and they're on the Lower East Side. And I spent a lot of time and a lot of money buying products and going to tastings when they had tastings, and talking to their very knowledgeable staff. And out of that, I really started working on creating mocktails. And I opened Catbird last year, knowing that I would be doing a mocking bar. And that's what I call it. It's actually the mocking bar at Catbird.
That's great.
And it's super cute. Catbird is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
A mockingbird is a real thing. So that fusion. I have, there's a couple of my staff are former bartender, not former bartender, they're bartenders, and they don't bartend with alcohol anymore, and they come in, and I have really great support in-house, and we collaborate on these cocktails, and we just have a lot of fun with it. And it's the same thing, you're making your own ingredients, and you're putting together these beverages, and in most cases at my bar, I'm using a zero proof, a botanical spirit. Or a non-alcoholic spirit.
Really? So you have some products up here. These are the kind of things. When I go to a bar and I do not drink alcohol, I just do the Cranberry and Club thing. And when the mocktails, I started seeing them on menus, I got so excited. When was the first time you thought about the mocktails?
When I was pregnant.
When you were pregnant.
Yeah. Because we're in a social situation. We're in the restaurant business for hospitality, not just food or beverage, and it's an experience. And when I was pregnant, I'm not a big drinker, but I do like to drink, and I wanted something fun and different. I didn't want to just have a club soda or juice at the bar. And so we started a small mocktail menu at Langosta. Nobody really drank any of it 13 years ago except me, but it's starting to grow, and with people like Catbird doing a full bar, I think it's great for the industry, because I like to always have something fun with dinner, but I don't always want to drink, or I'm the driver and I want to be sober.
You still want something fun.
And my kids love it. They have a mocktail or they have a glass of non-alcoholic champagne, and they feel like fancy while they're having dinner, because they're used to having fancy dinners, but they can't drink. And God forbid they order a Shirley Temple. We're not babies anymore, we want a mocktail.
I have a great Shirley Temple on the menu. That's the thing. There's an inclusiveness about it, because I think what I've learned the most over the last year is how many people actually, when you set down a beverage in front of them, depending on the type of glass it's served in. I use a rocks glass for most of mine. And then I have some fancy etched glass, like antique, that I serve my mojito in. And I have, old champagne glasses for like my ruby slipper and for the Wolfer sparkling NAs. And it's perception. It's perception. You have a nice glass with a beverage in it, and everyone around you is having cocktails with alcohol. Now all of a sudden, no one's looking at you as drinking a cranberry and soda out of a tumbler glass. You're having a craft drink. You're having a craft beverage. I mean, all the simple syrups are made in-house. All the recipes are made in-house with not just one, but maybe two of these botanicals. We're doing spritzes and aperitifs and athletic non-alcoholic beer on draft at Catbird now, which is really exciting. So the sector, it's there, and there's so many more people who are non-drinkers than I thought. I thought that this was going to be a slow grow. I really didn't imagine that it was going to be something that people really sought out. And seeing the willingness and the openness of people to be like, oh, I want to try that new old fashioned that's on your menu, or, oh, you're running a special with the Wolfer sparkling. Oh, this is great. Oh, wow, this tastes so good. And that response, because a dining experience in a BYOB where people are bringing their alcohol in, that's a different experience than going to a restaurant and sitting down and ordering cocktails. So now I don't have a liquor license, but I have this non-alcoholic bar. I have this beautiful botanical bar. So the perception now is a complete restaurant. And it's that too, and giving space and doing something that is so much fun. And I love it. I'm very passionate about it. And
do you change the menu often?
Yeah, seasonally. It's quarterly. So, and seeing it and having friends like Marilyn, who has a restaurant with a liquor license, but to be able to talk about these things and how they do cross-pollinate. They really do. And
whenever I go to dinner at your place, I always have one of your cocktails before. I'll bring wine, and we'll have wine with dinner, but I always have one of the mocktails to start, because it's like in a restaurant, I'll have some sort of cocktail, and then we'll get a bottle of wine for the table. It's the same thing there. Like I don't feel like I have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
In your place.
I think that's the nice thing now is that it's the crossover, right? I'm going to have a cocktail before dinner.
Yeah.
But it's the mentality is more and more, less and less. Oh, well, it doesn't have alcohol. I don't want it. It's more of, oh, that sounds really interesting and really good. Yeah. I want to try that. So, people are slowly realizing that they're not missing out on the alcohol. Yeah. They're actually experiencing a beverage, a craft beverage that just happens to not have alcohol.
Yeah. And when you pour yourself a drink, it's almost like you're kind of taking care of yourself. You're giving yourself like this little extra, even if it's just when you're making dinner, you want to pour a drink. And sometimes you just don't want the alcohol. So rather than having a glass of water or a club soda or whatever, you can create these cocktails. You can create them at home. You can go out, hang out, and have them. And it just makes you feel good. And I think it's plus very herbal, and you feel like you're being healthy and you're taking care of yourself in a weird way, right?
Yeah. No, and bubbles. Yeah. Anything that has bubbles in it instantly makes you feel happy. I agree. The Wolfer Estate, the spring in the bottle.
These look great. Now, can you do for us? We'd love for you guys to do a cocktail for us at the bar. Come up with a plan of something you want to, and we'll get that and we'll record it. Can we do that now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so let's head over to the bar.